Hello lovely people, thank you for visiting my channel. My name is Sharon. A very warm welcome to you. So the energy I'm picking up today is that we must start to go within now. We must find stillness. Stillness within the heart, stillness within the mind and the energetic field. Spirit are telling me to tell you to wear blue at this time. Obviously, we can see this beautiful lamp here. Wonderful colour. It's also the colour of the throat chakra as well, which aids in our communication. But inner peace and stillness really go hand in hand. And we can find that by going within, going for a walk out in nature, doing some real self-care, thinking about what it is that we want. But there is so much turbulence and fear-based narratives that are coming through the planet at this time. We can help to stop that coming through to our subconscious minds by wearing certain colours, i.e. blue at this time, and blocking those narratives out and forgetting about the trouble and strife of life and really start yet again concentrating on our own energy, our own frequency. Isn't there a saying that something like what we surround ourselves with, we become, and the people that we surround ourselves with, we become? So really, I've just heard them say is we need to be mindful at this time in particular that of what we are surrounding ourselves with, what we are absorbing into our frequency. Because believe it or not, even television programs have a certain frequency. You know, they're not called program for nothing, you know. So movies, everything that we watch on social media, you know, everything, the movies, TV programs, everything has a certain frequency. The music that we listen to as well has a certain frequency. People's voices have certain frequency. People's energetic fields have certain frequency. So they're saying be very mindful at this time of what you are absorbing into your energetic field. And they're saying, excuse me, particularly at this time, if you can surround yourself and or go to a lake or the sea or wherever, even taking a bath, get near some water, that will help to cleanse your energy. And you can imagine that the water is cleansing, even if you're just taking a 10-minute shower. Imagine that the water that's pouring out of that shower head onto you is pure gold and it's cleansing your aura. And that is really going to help to, what they're saying is, balance the energy at this time, because they're saying it's all over the place. Yeah, we can feel it. Once we do that, we can then step back into joy, and that brings us our joy. It's interesting, this card, because it has three faces. Now, isn't there like an ancient text or something like that that says every human has three faces? Like, isn't it one for your family, one for yourself, and one for your personal life, one for your professional life, and one for others or yourself, whatever it is? But it's something like that. But I find that very fascinating. So what they've just said to me as I've looked at this card again is actually take your mask off and stop hiding away from the world. Now is the time to shine. because we need light on this planet more than ever, as I'm sure you're fully aware of, you know, the nonsense that goes on. And it is nonsense, let's face it. It's just, let's not step into the fear. Now, I've mentioned this in previous videos. We must not go into fear. Lots of things are happening. And yes, we do have Uranus that goes into Gemini on the 7th of July this year. And it stays there for about 8 years, roughly. It does come out, I think, in around about October, November time until, I don't know, February, March, I think, of next year. That's when it goes into retrograde, but then it comes back. So, and then it's here then for like 8 years or however long it's going to be, roughly 8 years. It's going to be a turbulent time. And we really need to make sure that we are balancing our energies so that we can step into this higher frequency of joy. Because this is such a big thing. There's going to be massive change. Now, I didn't realize that Donald Trump was a Gemini. I've just done a channeling with Abraham Lincoln, actually. I'm trying to get ahead with my recordings because I don't have a whole lot of time. So if I can get ahead of myself, then it kind of helps me, and it means that you always have content as well. So, but I didn't realize that he was a Gemini, but I was picking up where his head was all over the place. So with Uranus going into Gemini on the 7th of July, this is what the energy is going to be like. And as I've mentioned in a previous video and posts on social media, this is what the energy is going to be like. So what I would say to you is prepare for a roller coaster ride, because that's what it's going to be like. Expect the unexpected. Now, I've already, witnessed this literally from the 1st of July. It's kind of already started because we're in that transition period. So yeah, weird things are going on, and the energies, yeah, it's kind of all over the place. So let's have a look at the tarot and see what the tarot wants to say to us. Now, as usual, I've cleansed the cards, and shuffled them, pre-shuffled them, but I like to shuffle them as we go along as well. Okay, so I've just seen, or they're showing me, excuse me, us as a collective on a spinning wheel. Yeah, or if you kind of want to think of it in more modern times, on, let's say, on the London Eye or something like that, where we're kind of all going up on this big wheel, and we're going up and we're coming down and we're going up and that's what the energy is going to be like. Yeah, time of transition. There's no stopping us now. This is why it's so important now that we must balance our energies, because if we don't, what they're saying is it'll really affect a lot of people. If we don't balance our energies, this transit from Uranus into Gemini is massive, and it hasn't happened for like 80 odd years or something like that, which I'd said in a previous video. I can't remember the dates exactly, but it is going to have an effect on everybody. That's what they're saying. Now, people with Gemini placements, we're just going to kind of ride the wave, and because we're used to it. I'm used to my own energy. I'm a Gemini sun. I know exactly what I'm like. I go here, there and everywhere, thinking about 50,000 things all at once, 65 different personalities per hour, and I'm sure the people that are around me know what I'm like. Okay, I know what I'm like. This is what the energy is going to be like for the next 8 years. And for a lot of people, that's going to come as a hell of a shock. A massive hell of a shock, because they won't know how to handle it. because obviously if they're not used to Gemini energy, then, you know, it's, put it this way, it could be quite tricky for them to cope with. So that's why it's so important that we step into stillness while we go through this transition, because it's a massive transitional stage. I keep seeing white butterflies outside my window. I have all week. Oh, I didn't even notice that. Look at that white butterfly. Yeah, that's, you know, that really, it, I don't know, when the cards say what I say, it just, I don't know, they still shock me. I still love them. So yeah, but we are going to come out of this okay. Everything that's happening is meant to happen. We are protected. So they really want us to step outside of fear now. We are Phoenix rising from the ashes. That is what's going to happen. Gorgeous card. Do you know what? People get so scared of the death card in tarot, but it's my favourite card. I absolutely love it. You know, and it doesn't always mean death in the literal sense. It's literally transformation from one chapter to another. You are closing a chapter on a book and going into the next one, or closing the book itself and starting a new one. Doesn't even matter. Or it's a transformation of from one mindset to another. You know, because all these things can be transformational, just changing the way that you think. Okay. I can see us on the London Eye now, and some of us are like, yeah, and others are like, no, we don't want this to happen. But it's all good. Honestly, it's gonna be fine. Yeah. So we have the Nine of Wands and the Princess of Pentacles. So they're saying we really need to remember to stand in our own power. Abraham Lincoln was talking about that we need to be there for people. And particularly with the 4th of July coming up tomorrow, I'm recording this on the 3rd, and he was very clear in his message that Independence Day is a celebration for all, not just the US. And the United States of America should be remembered. The word united is the operative word. And for us not to forget that we are all one. We are one consciousness. So the Nine of Wands, it's a heavy load and it's going to be scary. But look, we have balance here. We have balance. We have to stand with that power, because, you know, the energy is going to be fiery at times, and it certainly feels fiery at the minute. This Princess of Pentacles as well, I can see, I'm just drawn to these 4 trees at the back again. It's like everything is going to balance out, so there's no need to worry. It feels equal. You know, we got 4 wands here, 4 wands here, and he's holding one, making the 9 wands. But it's equally balanced. Equally balanced. It's going to be okay. Let's see what else wants to come out. Sorry, did I just knock my microphone then? I'm sorry if you heard that. I do apologise if that was right in your ear roll. Maybe I should move it up a bit. I've got it quite low down today. 10 of Swords, it's really heavy, and it's all in our head, and we're just worrying about it more than we need to. Okay, this is now telling us now we've got to step out of our heads and get back into our hearts, because that is where the true power lies. In the heart. That's where the true power lies. Get out of your head. because really that's just causing electricity. And I don't know what way we go in now. That's your typical Gemini energy. Ten of Swords, typical Gemini energy. That everything's going on in your head at any one time. I mean, it's fun, but it is exhausting. So let's step out of that energy for a bit. What else have we got? Seven of Pentacles and Ace of Swords. So we really need to use this opportunity to cut through the BS. Okay, as I always say, cut through the narrative, question everything. Okay, then it means, you know, we will find our happy place and start to fly free again. Everything's going to be grounded. It's okay. Step into the heart energy and realize that we've got everything that we need. As I said in previous videos, this planet, when it was created with everything that we could ever possibly need. And I'm not talking about want. Want is the ego. You know, you want the new car and the new house and what have you. That's your ego. But what we need are things like cure for all disease, okay, is on this planet. Every disease has a cure and it is on this planet. It's just a question of finding it. I do feel that, I kind of digress now, but I do feel that a lot of the cures for certain diseases are held back from the collective and not brought forward. Sorry, I just talked to myself in my head. So sorry if I'm waffling, I apologise, but I feel that the diseases of the planet, I'm kind of digressing here, but let's just go with it for a second. The diseases of the planet, we do have a cure for everything, as I've just said, on this planet. And some of the cures are held back because they want to keep us that way. And when I say they, I mean, what should we call them? Lower vibrations. Yeah, let's stick with that. Lower vibrational energy wants to keep us, as I always say, in fear. And what do we say? Fear is the currency of control. At the minute, they feel like they are starting to lose control. And what happens when that happens? More and more nonsense gets pushed onto us. More and more fear gets pushed onto us. More and more BS narratives gets pushed onto us. And the way that they do that is obviously through media, through social media, you know, whatever, newspapers, whatever. If anybody reads a newspaper these days, I've no idea. But obviously, you know, back in the day, like the red tops, as they were known, you know, the tabloids, they were like the big thing, weren't they? You know, nowadays, where do we get our news from? Social media, and or, you know, if you're just going to tune into the news channel or whatever. So, what I will say is prepare yourselves for a bumpy ride, but it's going to be fine. But as I say, the lower vibration, the energetic lower vibrations that run this planet through our governments feel like they're losing control. And the reason is more and more people are waking up. And that is amazing. That is what we want, because it's going to raise the vibration of the planet. And when we get to a point that the vibration of the planet is so high, the light will absolutely overcome the dark, because they absolutely cannot win. They will not win. They just won't win. That's what they're afraid of, because they know that we have the power within us to overcome absolutely anything. We just don't believe it. That's the problem. We just don't believe it, or we're afraid to do it, or we think, for example, I don't know, if something happened, if something terrible happens, like I was talking to one of my work colleagues today, and I lived in London. I moved to London when I was 16 with my mum, and we were there till I was about, I don't know, 23 or something. So a good few years, I don't know, 6, 7 years, something like that. We lived there. And during that time, I was mugged. And it was on a Saturday afternoon, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, when you least expect it, bright, sunny day. And I was actually waiting for a bus, and I was stood at a bus stop, and there were people around there, and literally I saw the bus coming down the road, moved out. I was like leant against a wall or a railing or something. I think it was a railing. And he's come behind me, pushed me over, grabbed my bag, and ran across the road. Right now, there were people at that bus stop, and a bus full of people. Nobody did anything. I did. I chased him. Unfortunately, didn't catch him, but yeah, I chased him. But the point I'm trying to get across here is we need to start stepping up for each other. Now, I understand that people don't want to get involved because they're afraid. What is it that you're afraid of? Of helping somebody else, a fellow human being. Okay, now I don't blame anybody for that horrendous experience that happened to me, because it happens to probably hundreds of thousands of people every day of our lives, and worse, of course. But the point that they're trying to get across to us now, they've asked me obviously to give that memory to you, is we need to start coming together and stepping up for each other, because we are the ones that hold the power. Now, I'd said in another video, can't remember which one, the thing that happened in 2020. And we can all remember, those of us in the UK, and I'm sure in other countries as well, our then Prime Minister, good old Boris Johnson, bless him, he came on TV and said, this and this has happened, and you must stay at home. I'll never forget that. I'm sure anybody that was around won't forget that either. It was the weirdest thing ever. Weirdest thing. And what did we all do? We went, yeah, okay, sir. Of course, you're the one with the power. But, however many million of people, what have we got in the UK? 60 million or something like that? Population? I don't know, probably more. If we'd have all stood up and said, no, what would have happened? Who's got the power then? We have to understand and realise that we are the ones with the power, not the people that have got more money than us, not the people that we feel are more attractive, more beautiful, more in the public eye than us. So let's start realising now that we have all this beautiful assistance, angelic, galactic, spirit fam, everybody, the universe, with us. And everything that happens on this planet is always for the greater good. But as Abraham Lincoln said, war is not the answer, it's not the solution. But these are turbulent times. But we must look out for each other so that we can all fly free and live with these rainbows. How amazing would that be? Instead of all this fear and, oh my God, I want to be jumping over that sun on that unicorn. Do you? I think that's proper cool. Look at those flowers there. Are they like lotus or something? I don't know, but they just bring in peace to me. They're, spirit fam, they're just desperately trying to bring us in peace, and to people in power, they're trying to bring wisdom. We had shenanigans in the House of Commons yesterday with Rachel Reeves, I'm not even sure what to call her, like financial lady. And I know there's been massive speculation and everything going on everywhere, all in the papers, all over the news, social media, you name it. Oh, this, that, and the other. But the message I got was, it happened to remind us that she is human. She is a beautiful spiritual being having a human experience exactly the same as the rest of us. And we have to start seeing these events and these people with compassion, through compassionate eyes. See them through the eyes of love. Now, I know it's extremely difficult. Extremely difficult. It's hard to do, and it's hard to forgive, and it's hard to see with those loving eyes, because we are living on a 3D planet that is run by lower vibrational energy. This is why it's so dense. This is why we need to keep stepping into joy, because when we do that, that raises our vibration so that we can forgive. Now, I can tell you wholeheartedly that when we transition, nothing matters. When we transition to spirit, or when you go into meditation, nothing. What matters? Nothing. Nothing matters. Everything that we go through on this planet and everything that we go through in life is just an experience. And we have all chosen this time to be here, to experience what we experience, and to be around the people that we're around. And I always say, everything is a lesson, every person a teacher. So everybody that you're around, that you're with, your loved ones, your work colleagues, family, etc., is a teacher. There's the dove of peace. So we've got two aces now. So we've got the ace of love as well. This is our new opportunity to step into that love. Cut through the bullshit. We don't want it. I've had enough of it. That's enough now. Trump and Starmer and all the rest of them. Love them or hate them. They're very polarizing, and they're meant to be. But the problem is what they're doing. They're causing division and separation. That's why it's really important that we come back together and start supporting each other. And even with people like Rachel Reeves, that I'm sure a lot of people really, really dislike, and I can feel the energy around her. I struggle. I don't particularly like the woman, if I'm honest. I'm human again. See, that's a human emotion. That's not the core of what I feel. I still have compassion for her, but I don't like the woman. I feel she's got no compassion. She has no empathy in her energy at all. But who am I to say I just don't like her? I don't know her. I don't know her personally. So really, I've got no right to say that I actually don't like her. I just don't like her energy. Put it that way. Let's rephrase. It's her energy that I don't like. Energy is everything. So it's time now. Cut through that and step into love. Because what will happen is, when we do, peace comes in and the rainbow. And that is beautiful and amazing and wonderful. And they've just said it's only literally a footstep away. So let's leave it there for today. Let's have a positive affirmation card, and we will end this reading on a positive note. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you feel so inclined, please like and subscribe, because it's really going to help my channel to grow, and it will help to get the messages out to more wonderful people. Thank you, as always, to the Spirit Fam for being here and supporting me through these messages and helping me and giving me the voice to speak. And thank you to the Angelic Realms, Galactic Fam, and everybody listening. What were we just talking about? Forgiveness. So this says, I am willing to forgive. So there we go. That really is a perfect ending to this wonderful but powerful message that we've had today. But what's coming through is not only forgive others, but forgive yourself as well. Because there are no mistakes, only lessons. So let's try and look on everything that goes on this planet and everybody that we come in contact with. Let's just try and look on them as a lesson and a teacher. So let's just read this card. We need the specs out. So 1 second. Right. So it says, forgiveness, hold it up. Forgiveness of myself and others releases me from the past. Forgiveness is the answer to almost every problem. Forgiveness is a gift to myself. I forgive and I set myself free. There we go. Set yourself free. Thank you very much, everybody. You take care, and I will see you in the next one.